4 days, I guess, 5 days since surgery. I think I'm over the hump. Anyway, the last video I did, I wrote, let's kick some locust ass,
Okay. First of all, hello everyone. This video is my reply to, or my feelings on Jonathan Kleck's video where he supposedly prayed to the Lord whether to publish a video where he wasn't real happy with some of the responders to his message, I guess. I just thought we'd play his whole video and I'll just comment on it throughout and give you my feelings. And I just like to say I'm not judging him personally. I feel like I'm judging his fruits. I think that's what we're supposed to do. That's how we discern right from wrong, good and evil. So, and again, this is my opinion. Don't take everything I say as gospel. I'm just a man. So, doing the best I can. But I do seek truth with all my heart. Sincerely. I believe that when we do that, we connect with God, and He reveals Himself in supernatural ways to let us know that He's there when we need Him, and guiding us, and God's no respecter of persons. Nobody has any more of a right to know truth than the other person. So everybody has the ability to humbly and sincerely seek God and truth with all their heart. And in this regard, nobody is special. We're all capable of this. I've done it. I've made that, taken that step. It leads far outside of what the church could ever teach you. For this reason, I was attracted to Jonathan Kleck's message from the get-go. I do believe that he has tapped into how to put it, heavenly knowledge. However, I believe that he takes it too literally. I believe that there's a lot of symbolism in what he is revealing, and therefore what he is sharing is just part of the puzzle. And also, he claims to be the end-time harbinger. the one and only. He's here to ring the bell. I don't know. If I believe that, then I have to think that everything that the Lord's showing me is bogus, and I must be doing something wrong. And for that matter, there's many other people out there that I've received a lot of information from, a lot of knowledge from, that I feel the Lord has revealed to me through them. And I would have to say that they were bogus and false teachers or false prophets. If Jonathan is the only one. See, that I believe is Jonathan taking something that the Lord has shown him to prove to him that he exists. And he's taken it and run with it and has not been humble by it. And it's all about him. He's making this all about him. Instead of just sharing his experience, which he has done over and over again, as an example of how you can instead of being an example of how to seek God out and explain to you that when you do this and God responds, he'll give you such supernatural revelation that you know for a fact that God's behind it. And this is to build your faith. It's a personal thing. It's not something that you have to prove to everybody else. You can share it with everybody else. And there should be a lot of people that will resonate with, and it resonated with me. I get it. I just think that he is misinterpreting it. I believe there's symbolism in what he's seeing. The locusts, I believe, represent something else. I don't take it literally. Not necessarily right about that. I don't know. But I also don't think that God's trying to scare us into submission with stories, these horror stories. And I don't think the end of the world is right around the corner. I think there's a lot of bad things that are ready to happen. I think that's pretty evident by picking up any newspaper or reading the news, or even just things going on in my life and people that I know's lives. It's getting pretty crazy. But don't believe that the end of the world is right around the corner. Especially if you take the Bible literally. I think we're a good ways off from the end of the world. But there's definitely supernatural things getting ready to happen. And if you've been born again or awoken, spiritually awoken, if you have a good relationship with the Creator, when you realize that there's more to this world than what we actually can experience with our five senses. That this is more about what happens after we leave this world when we die. Then you realize that there's nothing to fear. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started with this video. This is going to be a long one, I think.
Some people were really, really super rude, and I said, quit talking about yourself and stuff like this.
Yeah, I imagine people were kind of offended hearing you say, let's kick some locust ass. It just doesn't sound like something Jesus would say, Jonathan. Excuse me for a second. Excuse me. Yeah, since I've talked to you guys last, I've minimalized my life. I've given away all my personal belongings. I've now pretty much narrowed my life down to a suitcase. I have nothing tying me down anymore. I'm living in a storage. Well, it's actually a friend of mine's house, but they're planning on remodeling. But they use this room for storage, antique storage. So I cleared a little spot out and trying to live outside of the system now, trying to break free from it. And anyway, we'll talk about that later. Let's get back to Jonathan here. Yeah, Jonathan, you cuss a lot, man. I don't really have a problem with it, but some of the stuff you talk about, it's hard for me to watch your videos in front of my mom or my daughter. And so I can understand people being upset about that.
And I thought about it, and I prayed, and I thought, there's no way to tell this story without talking about my part in the story.
I agree with that. When you tell your story initially, I agree you need to include yourself because you're part of the story, but the emphasis you put on yourself over and over and over again, just like every video, you're telling the same exact story, but it always focuses on you. Put yourself, well, we're getting there.
Anyway, let me expand this. I don't have to this thumbnail. So anyway, I just want to tell y'all, I want y'all to try and take a moment to imagine what it's like to be Jonathan Kleck.
I understand where you're coming from, man. It's hard. It's really hard living a life for God and doing the right thing and repenting of all your wicked ways, your evil ways, and learning to love people and forgive people. And it's a hard life. And when we commit to that, you get attacked from all sides. I can totally relate to that. But over and over again, you're not the only person going through it, Jonathan. There are many, many other people out there that can relate.
It's unreal. I try and stay positive, and I try and stay, in the right spirit for everybody, to encourage everybody. But what we're dealing with is like one of the biggest horror nightmares in the world. It's unbelievable what we're dealing with. If you guys understand what it is I've been given, and I'm sorry, there's no way to talk about this except just to talk plainly. And that,
again, it's about what he's been given. He hasn't been given anything that any one of us, well, let me take that back. I think we're all capable of getting supernatural, hard to believe evidence that God exists and that there's supernatural things going on all around us. And we get it all in our own unique way. And that is what's happened to Jonathan. That's what's happened with me. The misunderstanding here is thinking that everything he's being shown involves all of us. I don't believe that's necessarily the case. I don't think he knows that. I don't think he's proved that. I think there's definitely something to what he's being shown. But I think it's only a piece of a piece to the puzzle. It's like each piece has each little piece is a puzzle. So you have to get all these pieces together to get one piece to the bigger puzzle. And he just has one piece to a piece. So, and we still don't even know exactly what it means. I feel like I think there could be a lot of symbolism behind what he's bringing to the surface here. So
it's one of my characteristics. I don't beat around the bush. I just say it like it is. Look, I used to be a pretty nefarious character. When I say nefarious, I mean I did what I wanted. I didn't answer to anybody.
Yeah, it sounds like pretty much who you are now, Jonathan. You don't answer to anybody. If anybody questions you, you get mad and you call them names and put curses over them. Tell them they're going to be locust food and call them hypocrites. And say you don't care about what anybody else thinks. They don't know what you're going through. So it sounds to me like you're still a pretty nefarious guy. You don't care. You don't answer to anybody. Nothing's changed. That's one problem. Another problem that I have.
Nobody. And, I did what I wanted, and I was very good at the things I did. And then the Lord God called me, and he destroyed who Jonathan Kleck was, and, and I was born again, and I became somebody totally different. But there's no way to deliver what I have to deliver to y'all without telling the story and showing all the evidence of everything that happened, and that's one reason I want to do this little video today. Do y'all understand what you're looking at? Do y'all understand what the bottom line is?
Not really.
This guy that's sitting here talking to you right now, and like I said, try and have some empathy, everybody. Try and go, wow, I wonder what it would like to actually have to be Jonathan. I mean, I wonder how you would deal with that mentally.
Jonathan, I've been through so much, man. What you tell me you've been through, I feel for you, man. I really do. I can totally relate, and this is no competition, so please don't take it like that. But I've been through a lot. I've told before on other videos how I feel like modern day Joe. It's just one thing after another, man. I've had family and friends turn against me for no reason at all. Uh, my children have been attacked and taken away from me. Um, that's something I'll talk about later, but taken out of my life, basically. And I've been brought down to the point where I feel like I had no reason to live at all whatsoever. Excuse me, except for whatever God's purpose is for me. And that's all that motivates me. So, been there, man. I'm there now. It's it's my faith that keeps me going. So,
How would you deal with the loss of your family? And even though you won custody of your kids every time in court, the three of them still aren't living with you because of the powers that be and all the circumstances and the weirdness that I'm dealing with. I wonder what it would be like.
I was divorced 10 years ago. My wife left me and the children, and I raised three kids by myself, only to have, um, and I might add, the best kids a father could hope for. I mean, great kids, and two of them have been taken away from me by the system. And there's a lot of supernatural uh, details about that I'll share in a future video. But it's tough, man. It's tough dealing with your kids are your life, or my kids were my life. So
To resolve the fact that people draw pictures. Can you imagine if? Let me ask you a question. Can you imagine if people drew pictures of you?
yeah, it'll creep me out, man, and make me think that there's something supernatural going on. And you even say that the people that did it, when you confronted them, they acted like they were demon possessed. So obviously this was a message to you, but only you know what that means, man. You're not proving anything to us other than you're tapped into something supernatural.
Whoever you are with images of dead sheep on the picture they drew of you, I mean, would that freak you out a little bit? Would you like it? How would you deal with it? I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, it's so mind-boggling to deal with what I'm dealing with. We're talking about, listen, the end of the world, the resurrection of the dead since the beginning. That's what I'm dealing with. The mystery of all mysteries.
You know, that's the thing, man, is the mystery of all mysteries you think you've discovered. Basically, your message has been around for a long time. There's a lot of people that believe what you believe now, that we're all fallen angels and Um, it's been around for a long time, man. And, I don't know that we're all fallen angels. Maybe we are. But there's a lot of people that would disagree with that. A lot of people that would back, what the Bible would say that's impossible to believe and also believe in the Bible. I've heard both sides. I don't know. But you're not the first person to say this, John. And it's been around for a long time. So I think that you bring a good case that it's possible. And the Bible talks about the wheat and the tares. So maybe some of us are and some of us aren't. But it still doesn't prove anything, man. Once again, it's a something that's been around for a long time. And let's move on.
Given to one guy. In the video I did the other day, let's kick some locusts out. I said, yeah, I'm the guy. Part of me saying that is just to get myself to be able to deal with it. Because it's so hard to deal with.
I think that you just explained it for all of us. You're talking yourself into believing you're the only one just so you can deal with it. If, I guess that makes sense, but which tells me that God hasn't told you you're the one and only bell ringing end times harbinger. You're telling yourself that and making yourself believe it. So there's just too many things, Jonathan, that I see in your attitude and your that just aren't Christ-like, that aren't fruits of the Spirit. So, and I'm not saying you're not born again. I'm not saying that you're not a good guy and that you're not on the right track and that you're not hearing from God. I'm not saying any of those things. I believe all that is true. I just think that you're misinterpreting some things, and I also feel like you got one foot in the world and one foot in the spiritual realm, and you just can't seem to discern some of the things going on in your life. I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but I just I'm just telling you how I feel in my spirit. So let's move on.
It's like, yeah, I'm the guy that was meant to ring the bell and tell everybody, guys, let me give it to you in a nutshell. Ready? Here's what's gonna happen. Okay, from all you folks that aren't saved, let me tell you what you have to look forward to. The pit's gonna open up, and there's gonna be a bunch of creatures that come out of the pit, and you see this big face right here? That's a big bug. Okay, that's like the queen. See the queen, the big queen bug? Okay, well the big queen bug, all her babies are gonna hatch, and all her babies were created from every soul that's ever died, of every angel that got caught in the host body system. And they're all going to come out of a pit, and they're going to sting everybody. And people are going to want to die, and they're not going to be able to die. They're going to seek death, and they're not going to be able to find it. So imagine that you're me, and you have all that information, and you feel the burden of having to deliver this information to the entire world. Let me tell you something. You'd suffer from feelings of extreme inadequacy, like, I'm not good enough. How could I possibly do this justice. Oh my God, this is the biggest news on planet Earth. You see the giant freaking bug? Picture E2? It's a bug. The mouth of the bug is all God's angels going into the mouth of the big bug. The Lord let me prove that we're angels. Have I not said you are gods? But you shall die like men. The Lord God let me prove that Genesis 1:26 is the biggest lie ever told throughout all the churches. Elohim said, let us create man in our image. Elohim is God's son. The word image is vain show. Have that been proven? We are a complete vain show. I am struggling so hard right now on how to deliver the end of this information to y'all.
It sounds to me like you've been delivering this information for quite a while now. So how are you struggling? You've done it. You're still doing it. You're working on DVDs or whatever. So it seems to be going just fine. You're getting the message out. I'm not so sure that you're, you say that New York City's getting ready to be destroyed with nuclear weapons. I don't see you out on the streets, waving people down and telling them, getting on the news or what have you. You're making YouTube videos just like thousands of other people. Is that going to reach the world? I saw this video has like 10,000 some hits. Word, I guess, is going around, and word of mouth, and people sharing videos or what have you. So we'll see how far YouTube will reach people. But if you're supposed to be telling the whole world, say, I don't know. That is a burden for sure. But
because it's like delivering the biggest horror movie anyone could ever even think of.
so you consider this is like a horror movie. I just don't. Jesus' message was good news, not a horror story. That's why I think there's symbolism to this. I just don't. The locust must represent something other than a literal pit, although I'm not saying it's not possible. I mean, we'll see. But have you heard of Emanuel Swedenborg, who visited the spiritual realm on a regular basis and says that there are correspondences between things on earth, things in heaven, and I believe locusts represent false teachings and false beliefs, and maybe that's something to think about.
Now, when I say I proved it, I'm sorry, I didn't prove it. The Lord God used me to prove it, and there it is. The biggest altar in the world is an effing bug.
I'm sure Jesus went around saying effing.
There it is. The mouth of the bug is a vagina.
Say penis and vagina an awful lot too, and show pretty graphic pictures. Like I said, I don't even feel comfortable watching the videos in front of my mom or my daughter. So, a message to the world that needs probably an R rating. I wouldn't want my children watching it, and those pictures embedded in their heads.
So, that's where all the food comes from. Every host body that comes out of a vagina is under condemnation, and the soul that's under condemnation is being self-cannibalized through a system that's called humanity, and then that soul of an angel, that essence of one of God's angels, is being cannibalized by a demon, and then it goes into the pit, and it's to make food for one of these in the pit. And the Lord God literally let me prove it. Literally let me prove it. Gave me all the information to prove it. Not just say it, but to prove it.
I don't think you're proving anything, man, except that you tapped into something. You tapped into something supernatural. It's proof for you. It proves nothing to us. It just proves to us that you have tapped into something supernatural. You tapped into something that is outside of our five senses. And that gives you some credibility. But as far as I'm concerned, not enough credibility that what you are stating is fact and proof of your message. It just proves that there is a message, and definitely something to consider and look into. But it doesn't prove to me that the end of the world is about to happen, and that real locusts are about to come out of the pit and sting us. It's not proof, man. Sorry. Anyway, if I keep doing this, this is going to take a very long time, so I'm going to stop this video here, and I will continue later with picking up where we left off here at 8:20 into a 50-minute video. So the next video will start back right here. All right. All right. I love you guys. See you later. Bye.
It's overwhelming. I just had